on my side. So just in case if I start breaking and it's no longer manageable, I think re ka thoma bedi ka 8:10. But for now, let's try to push. I'm not sure, Sidwell, if you are able to notice that maths is actually made of 3 simple things. Number 1 being the signs. Number 2 being the numbers. Number 3 being the letters. So everything that I'm going to do now is to prepare for question 1 type of exam question paper. So that means as soon as we have done this intro, we will then look at a exam type of question papers. But obviously, when we talk about the signs, we talk about it could be a plus, a minus, or a negative. So remember, there's a difference between a minus and a negative. You will notice the difference as we continue. Again, we can talk about a multiplication, of which you can still talk about the brackets when we talk about multiplication. And again, a division sign, it could be that one of a forward slash or this one of over. So it's also a division. And the last type of a sign that I would like for us to talk about is this one called greater than. We also have this one called less than. Then this is greater or it's equals to, less or it's equals to. I'm not sure if maybe Onyako add another sign from what I've added there, but or otherwise, are you also familiar with all of those signs?
Yes, I'm familiar with them.
Okay, 100%. So this is maybe the first part that makes maths. The second part, we look at the numbers. I'm not sure if you can believe if I say we only have 10 numbers. Let me just say 10 numbers in the world. I'm not sure if we dumelana le nna mola Sidwell.
Okay.
Only 10 numbers. And those numbers, we talk about 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6, 7, 8, and 9. These are the only numbers that we have, let me say, in the world. Because you might be thinking about 11. 11 is the combination of 1 and 1. It makes up 11. 217 is the combination of 2, 1, and 7. So that means in maths, you are only expecting to be dealing with generally these signs. There are more, but these are the only important signs which will help you to understand maths. In terms of the numbers, I'm telling you, these are the only numbers that you'll be dealing with. It could be 13.14. You still have 1, 3, you still have 1 and 4 coming from those 10 numbers there. 10 itself is the combination of 1 and 0. So I'm not sure if you get my point when I say we only have 10 numbers in the world, Sidwell.
Yes, I totally agree.
Okay, so now in terms of the letters, in mathematics, we are only talking about letters from A all the way up to Z. It doesn't matter whether it's capital letters or small letters. We are just having from A up to Z. Remember, 2x, x is a letter. For now, let's just forget about something assumed to be difficult called solve for x, and just remember x as being letter x. It could be for y. Y is a letter. So now let's maybe try to extend with our discussion. I'm not going to remove all of those in the meantime. So let's say this is number 2, this is number 3. So that's what I meant when I was saying in maths we are only dealing with 1, 2, 3 things. So these 3 things are combined together to form a maths problem, of which I will take you through an understanding of what type of maths problems we are dealing with. But for now, let me say I'm done explaining all that I needed you to be aware of regarding the three components of maths. So for now, you might not be having a question. It is normal at this stage for you not to have any questions. But I'm telling you, as we continue, you will be developing some questions. But for now, just in case if you are wondering of something, you can just interrupt and ask a question. But I think all was clear on that part. You just needed to know that we've got the signs, the numbers, and the letters, and these three things are combined together to form a maths problem. There are more signs that I haven't added, but these are the most important signs. I'm not sure, Sidwell, if you got my point on that part.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, 100%. So now let's maybe have a look at something called a term. Very, very much important that you remember that in mathematics there's something called a term. So how do we notice a term? A term is separated by a sign, only a sign of a plus or a minus. So that means every time, let's say you have 2x minus 2 is equals to 4. Can you see? You've got a sign of a minus. It could be a minus of a plus, which means this is a term, this is a term. So that's what I mean when I say a term. It's separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. So here you are having only one term. So maybe let me go deep into explaining a term and give you a structure of a term. So this is what makes up a term. Number one, it is a sign. So remember, this lesson is being recorded, so you might not need to write as I write. As soon as we are done, I'm going to forward it to your inbox. Then you can, at a later stage, watch it again. So a sign, let me just make sure of that one. Yes, so it is a recording. So a term, it is made up of, number one, a sign. We have a number. Sometimes it is being referred to as a coefficient. And then what comes after is actually the letter in simple terms. To complicate it, we can say a variable. And then lastly, we have a power. So remember, Sidwell, I'm actually making an assumption that you are completely blank. I'm just going to continue with that assumption that you know nothing with regards to maths. This is so that I'm going to be able to keep track of what you should be knowing, and that's how I'm going to understand where you'll be struggling. So if I assume that you've got an idea, I might skip some important information. So that is why I'm taking you through this lesson, just so that I will know where you'll be struggling, knowingly that I've explained whatever that I wanted you to be aware of. So just be patient with me on that one. It will make sense at a later stage. So lastly, we've got a power. So this is a structure of every term. So now let's try to maybe have a look at few examples and say, if you are having, let's say, 2y, it's not everyone who might be able to see all of that here. But I can tell you now that we do have a sign, we've got a number or a coefficient, a letter or a variable, and a power. So in this case, if you've got no sign there, it means it is an invisible positive. So that is the sign of that term. And then the number is 2.
Can I interrupt
and
a
then
bit?
the let
Okay, I can't see properly. Can you push it a little bit?
Let me try to, okay, let me switch it off and then I'll switch it on. Let's see. Even no, still the same.
No, A sharp. You just
A sharp, okay.
That 2y equal fast. You can push it.
Oh, no. Ke a o tshwara, no, ke a o tshwara. Ke a o tshwara. So screen sa hao sa phone maybe see this thing. So when I click mo.
Oh.
Why bona no?
Yeah, ke bona.
Yeah, so ka di lesson kaofela tse tla bo di attenda wena click mo re kgone ho maximize that space.
That's
Okay.
No, yeah.
So maybe let me quickly re-explain that and say if you are having, let's say, 2k, this is a term, and then now you have this in each and every term. Let's see, if there is no sign there, you need to always know that there is an invisible positive, which is that sign, and then the number, it is that number being number 2. If you like, you can call it a coefficient. So when we talk about a coefficient, we're actually referring to a number on the term. And then now the letter obviously is letter K. If you like, you can call it variable. And then the power, I'm not sure if you want to guess the power, Sidwell. Maybe guess the value of the power there on that term.
To the power 2.
Okay. Here comes a question. Someone is going to say, what makes you to guess 2 being the power? No idea, ne?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. Maybe, let me say, can you see how I've written this? It shows next to the number is that sign, which is that sign. Next to the number, it's a letter, which is that letter. So can you see where the power is? The power is actually there.
Exponent.
So if it's...
Yes.
You were saying something. Can you come again?
Yeah, I think the power is going to be the exponent power. So
Yes. So now that power, it has a value. So I wanted you to guess that value of the power.
the value would be 2.
And then let's say, what would be the reason to go for 2? How do you know is 2?
It's
No idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what happens. Just like you had an invisible positive there, there's also an invisible 1 there. An invisible positive 1. So remember, this is now the sign, this is the number, this is the letter, and this is the power. So you won't say 2 because of using that 2 there, because that 2 is actually for the coefficient or the number. As you can see, it's in that position. But now, if you are having nothing there, then it means the power is an invisible 1.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it makes sense, that one, Sidwell.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, 100%. Maybe let's quickly try something different and say, let's say we are having negative 3y squared. So can you see this one? It's actually easy because you can see everything there. The sign is that negative. The number is 3. Letter is a y, and then power is positive 2.
Yes.
Maybe let's do this one. C for Sidwell. Try to interpret that one based on all of those.
Okay. For sign, I will have a positive sign. And then for number, I will have 1.
Yes, invisible 1.
Invisible 1. And then a letter, we've already have C. And for power, we will have a positive 1 also.
Yes, a positive invisible 100%. I'm telling you, Sidwell, with you being able to interpret a term, it's going to make perfect sense when we get to the loss of exponents. Because for a learner who starts studying maths without having this basic understanding, it becomes a bit difficult to understand when we're dealing with some problems and you just see out of the blue there is one, you don't know where it's coming from. But maybe just to be practical, I still remember my teacher. He said something to date is difficult to forget. He said the reason why you are having X and not 1X, it's because if maybe a barilo ye shopong o reka borotho, for example, wa tlhakana le pudi, he o boya ba re o tlhakane le o ka se re o tlhakane le one pudi, o tlo no o tlhakane
Yeah.
le pudi wa e bona.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so that one is always there, but it's not necessary to say one pudi if it's only one. But that is why
Yeah.
we always have invisible one, invisible one. I want.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that means when you have negative p, this negative is not for p. P doesn't have a sign. P is just a letter. That's why even when we speak, you don't hear someone talking about negative pap or positive pap or whatever. So that means the sign, it always belongs to a number. A sign is always attached to a number. So that means when you have negative there, just know it's negative invisible 1, which is being multiplied by that p there.
Oh, okay.
Why bonus?
Yeah, get born, get born.
And then also, we always have a power there. If there's nothing, you know, it's always positive 1. Unless
Yeah,
if they write 2, -2, -3, or whatever, it could
yeah,
still be a letter to the power of y. Why one?
yeah, yes.
Lastly, let's do this. Let's say we are having 3a minus 4 equals a plus q. So now let's see, on the left side of that equal sign, I'm not sure if you want to guess how many terms are we having there.
Um, uh, 3a minus 4 is equals to a plus y. Is it y? What is it y or z?
Ke efe, right? Is this one ke q? Ke q.
Okay, okay, okay. Then ke tshwanetse ke be ke thome ka sign, number, letter, and the power.
So kore no e ba o reng he re bolela ka how many terms,
Yeah.
kore as interpreter term ko no bolela fela o reng on the left side of equal sign, maybe re na le di-term tse 7 or re na le di-term tse 5.
Okay.
So this thing ke yone e tlo o botsang gore botsebotse di-term tse o nang le tsona ke tse kae.
Okay.
So maybe re ke interprete I want. So on the left side of equal sign, we've got only 2 terms. This is a term, this is a term. On the right side of equal sign, this is a term, this is a term. So no, a term is separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. There it's a minus, and in this case there it's a plus. Then you know this is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term.
Ke bona. Is that
Yeah,
the
so
mo ya mo fatshe ya sign number ne ke le sa le ka la go di ya. But I get it now.
okay, so now if you have to interpret a term, that's when you're going to say here you have an invisible positive, there is a number, there is a letter, invisible one there. Then can you see this sign of a minus? It belongs to this number being 4. So that means there is a sign, there is a number. So in this case, it's a term, but we don't have a letter there. Then we just jump to a power, meaning there's an invisible one there. And then when you
Yeah.
get to this term, you've got an invisible positive 1 there, you've got a letter, you've got 1 there. Same here, positive invisible 1, a letter, and a power there. I'm not sure if it makes sense there.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Why wanna know? So no ki remove everything. We are now moving on to types of math problems. I'm not sure if you've got any questions on what we've just discussed up to this point.
I can know one for the last time, this one, before we proceed. Is 3A
or
and
ke ding
4?
ko fe ye nngwe interpret ne?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we are having 3k, let's say minus 9, let's say minus 18, maybe 18p, let's say plus z. How many terms are we having there? Maybe Sidwell, in the meantime, I forgot to add an important sign under a list of signs, being it's equals to. This is a sign also. Equal sign. Yes, it's a sign. Okay, let's see. How do you, not to interpret, but how many terms are we having there?
So I think we'll have a positive 3.
Okay. Okay. Wait, so let's say this is number 1 of telling how many terms. Then this is number 2, let's say, of interpreting a term by 1.
Yes.
So that means for no, how many terms are we having there?
Okay. MSK. Those separated by plus, separated by sign, by minus, and okay, is 1, 2, 3, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
100%. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 terms that we are having there. Then once you have identified how many terms, then that's when you can do that interpretation of each term. Maybe quickly, let's go through that one. You can maybe start interpreting the first term, then until the last one. You can just go for it. I'll just be listening. I'll intervene only if you're making a mistake. But for now, go for it.
Okay. It's gonna be a positive 3. And it's gonna be a positive 3. And then we have a sign there, which is K minus.
Wait. You just said a sign, and I look under the signs. I don't see a K, meaning there's a problem there, Mr. Sidwell. So remember, K is a letter, not a sign.
Yes.
Yeah, so a positive 3, and then you see a sign K. So I just wanted you to correctly say letter K.
Oh, letter K. Oh, letter.
Yeah, so that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant when I was saying not a sign, but a letter by 1. So can you pele no?
Yeah. Okay, it's positive 3. Actually, a positive is gonna be a sign, and then positive. 3 it will be a sign. It will be a letter. 3 will be a number. 3 will be a number. And K.
Ay, nga se gone.
Okay, let me start afresh. Okay.
Ya no ke gale. Ke a kwisisa ke gale. Okay, no, it's fine. O ka no thoma.
I can try it up. Okay, it's gonna be a positive 3. And then positive, it will be our sign. And then 3 is a letter. and then a positive K. K. Positive 3 is a letter. I mean, positive 3 is a number. I get a positive 3 is a number, and positive K is a letter. And then we have negative 1, negative 9.
Okay.
Is it 9?
Okay, yeah, ke 9. But wait, so let's say koreng o bona letter ha ena bo positive or bo negative. I want.
Oh,
So
okay.
sign ya positive e belonga to a number.
Okay.
I want. So that's why if you have a positive even though we normally say this is positive K, but it's not really positive K, it's actually positive 1K. I want. So this positive, or if it was a negative, it actually belongs to that number there. But K is just a letter, and a letter haina for positive or for negative. I want. So that means maybe to interpret quickly the first one, I'm going to say for this term, the sign is a positive. The number is 3, the letter is K, and then the power is invisible 1. I want.
Yeah.
So maybe very quickly, complete that last part.
Okay. And then kabale negative 9 to the power invisible 1 and minus 18. 18 it's a number. P is a letter. Positive visible 1 also plus there is Z, ne? I can't say there on Z. I can't say 1 Z. No, it's just gonna be positive letter Z to the power 1.
Yes, to the power 1. So even here, now that invisible 1.
Yeah.
So that means an invisible 1 will always be there as long as it's just a number, because this sign here positive, it has to belong to a number, which is that invisible 1, and then letter is just a letter by 1. So I think so. What we have just done now, oh yeah, no, I just remembered something very much more. So let's maybe try to differentiate between a minus and a negative. So if you are having two terms, this is now called a minus, this is now called a minus. But if you had this, then this is a negative, but this is a minus, because now this is negative 3. But because this is between two terms, it is then called a minus. That
one we call it minus because of two terms between because it's between 3K and minus 9.
Yes, we call it a minus because it's between two terms. But this one, it's a negative and not a minus.
Negative. Yeah. I get it.
Why? Sorry. Yeah. So, from time to time, maybe we get a negative whatever, we get a minus. We're not realize that okay, it's called a minus because it's between two terms. It's a negative because it's tataka negative. There's no any other term. Why one?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So no over introduction was no ratoma ka metse jwale. Ke remove everything. So now when I say we are about to start, it's because now we are discussing math problems. Let's say number 1, I will just make sure to keep it simple so that what could be the reason? Maybe you will realize as we continue. I just want to prepare you to get to a stage where you can feel the level of complexity, and again, what is expected of you as a mathematician. So number one, let's talk about equations. And then maybe number two, let's see, yeah, let's also talk about inequalities. And then number three, let's talk about expressions. Okay, so now this is what I realized. I actually realized that if you spend much of your time studying or trying to understand the nature of the problem, you become or you put yourself in a better position to provide the best solution to that problem. I actually realized this in the engineering field to say for every project that we are having, it's always best not to try be obsessed with introducing possible solutions. Firstly, try to understand the type or nature of the problem. It's going to guide you in terms of what is needed to solve the problem. So now let's talk about equations. What are equations, or how do you see an equation? And you won't believe that it's very easy to notice an equation. This is what tells you if you are dealing with an equation, an equal sign. So that means when you have 2x plus 1 is equals to 2, this is an equation, Sidwell. I'm not sure if you can tell why am I saying this is an equation, or what do I see which makes it to be an equation?
Because we have equal sign.
Yes, okay, let's see. What about 3p plus 4 over 7y? This one, is it an equation?
No, it's not. This one, it has to be inequality.
Okay, okay, let's say it's not an equation. Why is it not an equation?
Because I wanna equal sign.
Yes, 100%. So now we apply our inequality. So what makes it to be an inequality?
Because re sa tlo solve that. Re sa tlo solve. Yeah, it's like
Hey, ya re ke gale. Ke gale, what's up? Ke sure your mo le o reduce solver, go reduce solver. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to remove all of this and say you see an inequality by the inequality sign. These are the only inequality signs that we are having or that we'll be looking at. So the moment you see that, it could be 2y greater than, let's say, 1 minus x. This is an inequality. What makes it to be an inequality? It's because of an inequality sign. Y1. It could be greater than, it could be less than, it could be greater or is equals to, it could be less or is equals to. As long as we see that, then we know it's an inequality. So what we are doing is just to try identify whether we are having an equation, an inequality, or an expression. Y1.
yes.
So question Akakori, do you not struggle in remembering whether this is greater or less?
Yeah.
Or maybe if Kidia saw, o kgona tseba ke less than or ke greater than, or was struggle ka o tseba gore ke eng?
I know this one is greater than if it, yeah, I know that.
Okay. Okay, no, then it's fine. I was about to say the way ke criminal ke right-handed. So obana o dile so ka right hand, o dile so. O ka dia ka left, it's more like o dile so. Because I'm right-handed, my right hand is greater in energy. Obviously, left is less in energy. So that's what makes this one to be greater than, and then this one to be less than. If you add that, then it becomes it's equals to. So that means this thing, from that equal sign, bano remove this top part and then babia inequality sign. That's why we're greater or it's equals to. It's equals to from that equal sign. I won.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now expressions. How do you notice an expression? Very, very easy. As long as it doesn't have an equal sign, it's an expression. It is as easy as that. As long as you wanna a math problem, it could be this thing that you interpreted as a term. Aina equal sign, aina inequality sign. That is why a expression. Why what?
Okay.
So now, let me explain something very much important also. The reason why nekitseya hore resatlo solver, otlo understand no. So we are having greater than, lesser is equals to, greater is equals to. The reason is because you don't always solve in maths. You only solve let's say if you are having an equation laying inequality, that is the moment you solve. But if you are having an expression, you don't solve, but you simplify.
Yes.
Okay, so that means if we are having, let's say, 2x is equals to 4. This is an equation. Why? Because I see an equal sign. What does it mean? It means you need to solve.
We solve. Yes.
But now the question is, what are you solving?
We're solving that x.
So generally, we say we solve for the unknown.
Okay.
But now, what is the unknown? The unknown at all the times is represented by a letter, which could be any letter from A up to Z. So that means in maths, when we solve, we actually solve for letters. That's all. We don't solve for numbers because numbers we already know. We just want to know what is the value of the unknown being letter. So that means if we are having 2c is equals to 4. When you think about it, it's more like they are saying what number, when you multiply it by that 2, it's going to give you 4. What number is it?
It's 2.
Yes, it's 2. But now you score marks through mathematically showing that answer of 2. That's where you score marks in maths. Because it's not every time where you'll be able to easily know that it's 2. For example, if we say 2p plus 1 is equals to, let's say, 5. So why this one? Mathematically, it's more like they're saying what number, when you multiply it by 2 and you add it by 1, it's going to give you 5. What is that number?
It's 2 by 2 plus 1. It's going to give us 5.
Yes. So can you see? You took some time to tell me that answer there. Sometimes it could be even more complicated. It could be, let's say, 3 to the exponent that minus 2x is equals to 0. Can you see? You won't easily be able to come up with that from the top of your mind to know what combination will result in 0. So that is why we have mathematical steps to get to this value, to know what value it is when you substitute it there. it will result in 0. So that's where math steps comes in. I'm not sure if I swara mola Sidwell.
Yeah, I'm interested too much on this. It's interesting.
So
Yeah, it's
vele
interesting.
resatlo solve, but for now we are just discussing what exactly is maths. We are not really solving anything, and I'm sure you will realize that as soon as you have this type of background, it puts you in a better position to be able to develop interest in everything that we'll be talking about related to maths, because you won't be confused easily. You can struggle to solve, but you'll be having an understanding of what we're trying to achieve. So let's see.
Yeah.
What else do I need to make you aware of? Okay, maybe let's talk more about
Okay.
equations, because it doesn't end there.
Okay.
So,
Before we proceed, yeah, I understand.
mhm,
Just
yeah,
to unlock Ngondo yaka a bit. That one, can you just do it quickly? So because that one here, 3x
yeah.
squared minus 2x is equals to 0. Can we quickly
Mm.
just do it? Because you can yeah,
Let's see.
3x
The
squared,
thing is, kana kirileng ke dileng 2x
2x, yeah, is equals to 0.
is equals to 0. Okay, so this one, even though ba itile from a monahanong, but now
Yeah,
okay, maybe let's try for the sake of you requesting, let's try to work it out. But now, every time when you approach a math problem, just like now, I wanna know, you want to see that being solved. But now the question
yeah,
is, what type of a math problem is that? What are we solving? What are we expecting? Which is
yeah,
package which is within all of that.
yeah.
Why one?
So I
But
think
maybe.
this one,
Mhm.
or it's gonna be equation, that one.
Yes, it's going to be equation
And
because of that.
yeah,
So the next question, which I'm going, what type of an equation is that? So ko explain under equations.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so that's what I was saying. It doesn't end there. Once you have identified
there,
that it's an equation because of that, the next question is, what type of an equation is that? We have two types, or for now we're going to discuss
okay,
two types. Why one?
okay,
So if we
yes,
note it down, now we note it down, re tlo boela mo yona, or otherwise re tlo ya
all right,
ko tsa di-exam straight. So let's see.
okay,
Under equations, we have two types. The first type is what we call a linear, and then the second type is what we call a quadratic. So these are the two important quadratic. Okay, so let's see. We've got a linear, we've got a quadratic. Maybe very quickly, it's easier to notice both. Yeah, linear. That's if, let's say, we are having 2x maybe plus p is equals to 0. So when you look at the letters, what you want to letter check of the highest power of this letters is 1. Also there is 1.
yes,
Yeah, so that's what makes it to be a linear. And this one, since this is an equation, meaning we solver. When you solve, that means you're only going to have one possible answer. Let's maybe try to compare this one. That's when everything's going to make sense. So if you're having 2y squared plus y plus, let's say, 2 is equals to 0. So obana letter ke y. What is the highest value of the power? Yeah, that letter.
get 2.
Ke 2. So that means every time when you see an equation having the highest power of 2, it's a quadratic. So that means you can, on your notes, say if you're having 1, ke linear. If you're having a power of 2, whatever the letter is, power of 2 ke quadratic. 2 ye routing. You're going to have
Okay.
two possible answers.
Okay, can you just repeat that, please? Please.
Okay, ke part ya quadratic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, every time I get one to the power 1, ke linear.
Yes. We tlhalositse correctly. So if for example we are having a 2m, let's say plus m, it's equals to, let me maybe be realistic and say that, yeah, something of that nature. So already this is an equation because of an equal sign. But now,
Yeah.
what type of an equation is that? Is it a linear or is it a quadratic? Then we check the unknown, because you know you're going to solve. So now,
Yeah.
the unknown, what is the highest power of that unknown? It's just letter m to the power of 1. So I wanna, whatever letter that you are having, which could be any letter from a up to z, as long as it's to the power of 1, it means it's a linear. And this one,
Okay.
it also means you are just going to have one possible answer if you solve that unknown.
Okay.
So maybe very quickly, let's see. Here is solve agree. This one, you will take this to the other side. Then it becomes 2 minus 4, which is minus 2 or negative 2. Then you divide by 2 on both sides. So that unknown. And then it gives you negative 1. Then if it is.
Okay. Hey. Hey, we did like speed. Okay. It's
No,
2m
ke sa tlo
plus 4.
boya mola ska ware ke sa tlo boene ke tlo tlhalosetse yona bopeta gore o e hopole o ska ba tse o e lebetse. So for no botse ntwe a se e ne ke nyaka o itlhalosa, ne ke nyaka o no tlhalosa fela this part ya or linear o e bona jwang ya gore o solve jwang ke sa tlo tla mo.
Okay.
Mara wa e bona linear or o e bona jwang mos?
Yeah, ke a bona.
Okay, maybe let's say this one. What is the highest power of the unknown?
Of the unknown. You over 2.
Yes, ke 2. I get unknown ra tswa ke letter. So that means every time I get the unknown, I'm referring to a letter. So that means now, what is it? So the highest power is 2, meaning you are going to have 2 possible answers of the unknown because of this being 2. So that means nkebe re na le 3 equally, let's say re na le 2 p plus p3 minus 4, it's equals to, let's say, p squared. What is the highest power there?
Ke 3.
Ke 3. So that means you're going to have 3 possible values of p, or 3 possible values of the unknown. By one. And now this type is what we call cubic function. I'm sure you're not hearing this for the first time. Or cubic equation. The cubic. Cubic because of that cubed there. But for now, we are not going to discuss up to cubic, but only up to a linear and quadratic. Cubic is another chapter at a later stage. I want.
Okay.
So let's see. Now let's come to the part ya solving. So this is what happens. Moswa upola koshela ya Beni Mayengani, chabalala one side, baloi one side.
Yes. Yeah.
Through that song, it's going to be very, very much easy to always remember how to work out a linear equation. Reason to that is because surnames, one side, what am I going to say in this case? Maybe let's say Oganor Baloi one side, Chabarara one side, but mathematically we say letters one side and then numbers one side. That's how you solve a linear equation. What do I mean by that? Agro bonoring renale letter M mol and renale the number. So until idea going, let's take away all the numbers to one side and then reveal the letters on one side. I won.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is why value 2m on this side. Then you take away that one, or the numbers be one side. Already on a 2 kamo. Kora 4 ki mo yeng kamo. So that's why we thoma ka 2, because already se chile kamo. But because ye ki mo yeng, wa hopola mo sore change sign akere.
The change sign, yes.
Yes, always have a moyeng a change sign. So that means you're still having that 2m, which is equals to what? If you punch him calculating, you find negative 2.
Yes.
Yes, so this one, o ka se ishe 2 ka kwale, because 2 ye goramelane le letter, so santse o e goramolle.
And
we goramolla ka we divide by exactly that, or re kgone cancel, and whatever we di ka mona le ka mo idea, so that o shala ka that unknown yellow ring, or ye divided by yellow scalable negative, so that's why you find negative 1. So bona ring maluleka one side chabalala one side, so re na le bo maluleka and then na le chabalala one side. So that's how you solve.
I always remember it.
Yes. I won. So this is only applicable if you are dealing with a linear equation. When it comes to quadratic, it's a complete different story.
Okay.
So leona suri ya tshwenya o ikwisha o tlo ikwisha ho ka bona o ikwishishitse o tse bo reng ha e tshwenye, mara o ka bona o sa ikwishishi kona mo lo reng ya tshwenya. And problem e santšhe e be nna ke tlo e tlhalosa in different ways, then re tla bona gore mo tlo ikwisha na. But maybe a re ke remove all of this, maybe re try to focus on this one, and then ke tlo fa example ka re, let's say we're having a 2x squared minus 1. Remember, examiner to try over tricky in all possible ways. So this is just an example coming from the top of my head. So this is what happens under quadratic. It has to be in the standard form. In the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, everything must be equated to 0. This is the standard form. So if it's not in this format, you need to rewrite it in this format. The question now is, this one, is it in the standard form? Yes or no?
It's can another network I shop out. I can't know what I'm. I would say we want to know.
Okay. I can try. Okay, so okay. The other thing, or just in case, maybe wakrea who attendile those Monday to Friday classes, everyone who attendile, and then wanna osabon or osakwe, you can leave and then rejoin. So it's more like a refresher or when you leave and rejoin. So okay, because here okona we bona RD, so okay, is it in the standard form? This problem.
Yes.
Okay, for you to know it's in the standard form, that's if it's in that format. So why compare ring? Is it in the same format? Okay. So let me explain this one, and then get for practice. So this is what you check. How many terms? 1, 2, 3 terms on the left side. So now that means this thing, you need to rewrite it in this format, meaning you will need to have a coefficient represented by a, then have the unknown to the power of 2. Unknown in this case is x. So that means you're going to have x squared. So you are now forced to take this to the other side. Why? You want it to be in that format of ax squared plus bx plus a constant, which is just a number. So when you take this to the other side, it changes the sign. A by negative invisible 1x. Then already this one is on the left as negative 1. Everything must be equated to 0 because o tšere wa isha to the other side, you remain with nothing, and nothing in maths is 0. So I want to know it's in the standard form.
Okay. Yeah, can we repeat it? That one, yeah.
Okay.
2x squared minus 1 equals to x.
Okay, let's see.
Then
So that means a value attached to unknown squared. If o ka e check botsebotse ke power of 2 ya unknown ya latella ke ya 1 and then ya nova just a constant. So this one, it's not written in the standard form. So that means we need to reshuffle so that it's in the standard form. So already this one, let's say, is the president, wa to the power of 2. Re thoma ka president. After president re reng ke e ba premier ne,
yeah,
or ke minister, maybe a re premier. So premier e tlo ba this one. So santse re mo tšee re mo tlise ka mola wa e bona, mara o change sign akere. And then maybe re bo malambane di councillor a bana di letter bona already se jale ka mo, so ke minus 1, so it's equals to 0 because re tšere premier ra. So everyone no kara cabinet or a president office or whatever. So kamo we've got nothing. So I want to know it's in the standard form.
We explain it way much better.
No.
It's clear.
Yeah.
It's clear. Yeah.
So are go fe this one maybe born. Are maybe na le 1, it's equals to 2p plus p squared. Yeah, maybe try to reshuffle this one we want like a standard form. Okay. So always essential who standard form, it's in this format. It's not given to you on the formula sheet. You just need to know it by heart, or it's in that format.
Okay. Yeah, and then I thought to p squared. Ne, I thought to mara ka gore e change ya ka kwa e ka se thoma ka minus. No. Okay, 1 is equals to 2. Let me just try it. P squared minus, I know you are positive because it's an leona come. Ke le tlo change sign. You are p squared plus 2p minus 1 is equals to 0. Hello?